You've seen Pixar's movie Luca, right? If you haven't seen it yet, you need to go watch it before watching this, because if you don't, well, that would just be weird. So here's the thing, I was watching Luca for like, I don't know, the 57th time, and while researching the film, I got to thinking, I think Pixar's gonna be making a Luca 2. And I think the main villain is going to be Alberto. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen Pixar make a sequel to one of their movies, or a third installment, or a fourth chapter, or a prequel. Eventually, I'm sure even we're gonna be seeing Toy Story 9 in the big lights. But here's the thing, Disney decided to put Luca directly onto Disney Plus without letting it go to theaters first, or they didn't even put it behind a paywall on Disney Plus. By doing this, Disney and Pixar will never know how much we loved or hated Luca. Why? Because since the beginning of movie time, we've judged how much we like movies by how many ticket sales there were. Duh. I think that the Pixar employees were deprived of seeing how much of a success their movie could have been if the Great Mouse would have just let it be. So they're gonna want to extend the story to part 2, finally discovering how high their movie can fly. Besides that, all the hard work that has been done by now, building codes and algorithms on how to make the characters and the scales and the gelato and all the designs for their world, so making a Luca 2 would be a lot easier, a lot cheaper, and a lot more profitable. Besides that, I think Pixar left us clues that Luca had a real villain lurking in the film. And I'm not talking about Signor Vespa. The real villain is none other than Luca's best friend in the entire world, Alberto Scorfano. Where's the evidence? Everywhere. Watch this. Disney likes the color green when it comes to their villains. We've talked about that many times because it happens many times. And if you look closely, Luca has brown eyes. Julia has brown eyes. Even Ercole Visconti has brownish eyes. Almost everyone in the entire movie has brown eyes, except Alberto Scorfano, who happens to have, you guessed it, green eyes. But that's just the biological makeup, right? Okay, but there's a lot more. When they're all sitting down to dinner and Massimo is cutting the heads off of the same species of Alberto, not only does Alberto not appear to be concerned or scared in any sense, he also seems to be fascinated with the death of his fellow fish friends.
What's wrong with you, stupid?
Even the opening shot shows he likes taking risks for meaningless things, like a playing card or a wrench, which he doesn't even know how to use a wrench. Then when Massimo takes Luca and Alberto fishing, Alberto lunges towards Massimo when he sees all these dangerous weapons on his belt. And to top it off, he gravitates to the deadliest knife on the belt. Clearly, he takes every opportunity to show his aggression. Even a simple telescope, he wants to transform it into a gun that shoots lightning. And then every chance he gets, he wants to fight. So we know he's a violent character and he likes death, but there's more. We also know that he's extremely shellfish. Shellfish. And he tends to only look out for his best interest. Yes, he did that one kind deed near the end involving the scooter and the train ticket. You know what I mean. I don't want to spoil it for the people that didn't watch the movie and refused to stop watching this video, because you know there's gonna be a few in here. But that action was spontaneous, okay? And clearly it wasn't thought over. Like in this very moment, boom, he thought I should do that. So remember that, because we're gonna come back to this later. Now on the map showing where all the sightings were for monsters, we see that they all are isolated around Alberto's private island. And it seems all the other sea monsters are well behaved in ensuring that none of the humans can see them, or don't see them like monsters, or don't see him transitioning from monster to human. Like Grandma goes to town every weekend and she's never caught transforming into a human. Alberto is likely deliberately showing himself off to the humans though, so he can steal their precious belongings like a little thief. And he does this to keep them away from his island so he doesn't have to share. Now we find out later on that when Luca is in school, Alberto stays to help Julia's dad with the fishing industry. And seeing what they caught in one day without Alberto Luca even getting wet, it's reasonable to see what the outcome of long long-term fishing with Alberto would have on the environment. Eventually they will end up overfishing to the point there's not even enough fish left to fish. And on top of that, the fish will go down in value because there's more fish in the market, so they would have to catch more fish in order to maintain that current lifestyle of money. Till eventually there's nothing left to fish. Then what? Well, it's reasonable to think that based on Alberto's collection habits that he will become accustomed to spending lots of money, and even though Irko's evil empire has fallen in the movie, Alberto will turn into the next villain when Luca gets back from school in Return of the Luca. So Luca will ride his little Pixar train all the way back home to find out that Alberto Scorfano has gone crazy. Then once there was no more fish to fish, Alberto got other jobs to maintain his lifestyle and try to do it fairly for a short amount of time, like being a lifeguard, which we saw in the credits of Luca. But when he discovered it wouldn't pay enough, he discovered a new hobby that paid handsomely, where he can maintain his lavish lifestyle. And what career is that, you may ask? The business of catching and selling his own kind for the bounties to zoos and labs and hunters all over the world, clearly betraying the trust of his own sea monsters. Will Luca be able to stop Alberto in time and save his own family that Alberto already destroyed? That's right, Alberto caught and sold Luca's very own family because he resented Luca for abandoning him like Alberto's dad did. And because he felt tricked into selling the Vespa, the only thing he ever owned that he honestly earned, for a stupid train ticket so Luca could go to a stupid school. To make it worse, when Alberto first started catching and selling sea monsters, he started with Luca's family because they loved and trusted Alberto, making them the easiest target to catch. And just like how he betrayed his loyalty to Luca before, he betrayed their loyalty as well. Kinda seeing a pattern here. And a side note, maybe we never heard about Alberto's mother because she was caught by poachers way back in the day, never to be seen again, which would explain why Alberto scares and steals from the humans to exact his revenge. This is what I think we'll be seeing in the future Pixar movie that could be called Return of the Luca. That's just my prediction. Let me know what you think of this crazy idea. And until our next adventure, gents and gentlemen, remember most importantly of all, share a smile. They are contagious.